Look at this cool tree here at Neptune State Park, the Oregon coast. Little picnic area here. Beach trail, beach trail. I'm on a beach trail. Someone down here looking for agates. If you come here, these stairs are extremely dangerous in the winter. The state used to maintain these pretty well, but now they don't, so. See, someone's even got a makeshift board down here, which may or may not be a good idea. Yeah, this is like the third or fourth best place to find agates during the winter. You can see all the rocks here. I'm just on an adventure. There's no agates here today. No. I also like to come and see which way the stream turns. Man, it really took a turn this year. Amazing. It's a beautiful little kind of secluded beach because, you know, there's only like 4 people here right now and 2 of them are leaving. So I will find plenty of adventure here today. I'm going to go look at something down this way. One thing to look for in the summer is like fossils or cool piece of driftwood that you can make a crafts out of, or here goes a turkey vulture. Hey, don't be looking at me, man. I'm not that old. Or another thing, it's like pieces of jasper. The reason I say this is because most people don't know what they look like. I found some of my most beautiful rocks just like hidden a little bit. Yeah, you better be running. Yeah. Someone had a beach fire here probably, or they were going to. I always look for the perfect piece of wood to build my next walking stick. Now look, there's one lady down there by the river. I'm the only person here. Well, there's the guy up north there in that white truck. That's the state worker filling the toilet paper and checking the place out. God bless him, God bless him or her. Without the state workers, we wouldn't have these places. Plus, I like to look for like crabs and fish in here, and so I'm going to look in this area a little bit. I just got a feeling when I woke up this morning. That's a cool piece of wood right there. So I'm going to pause until I find something, or maybe not find something. We'll see. I wish that was an agate, solid agate. Be like a 12-pound agate. That'd be cool. I also wish I was strong enough to carry this home. I don't think it'd fit in the trunk of my car. That's what the inside of those rocks look like. Look at that tree hanging off the cliff from, yeah, that thing's like 50, 60 years old. Here's a pretty cool looking round rock. It's round on one side. Look at that right above my head there. Yeah, I'm going back in this secret place back here. Nobody goes back here hardly. Some people do, but not many. I actually haven't had much luck back here, even in the winter, but sometimes, this is only September. Now you got to remember this Labor Day weekend, September 1st. And how many, like 200 people have been here this weekend. But even if I don't find anything, I'm walking 2 or 3 miles on this beach for exercise, is how I view it. See, someone lined up rocks and shells on this log here, some little kid. So that's proof people have been here over the weekend. You can look at a couple of these tide pools here. They're pretty murky, but they got stuff in them. They always do. Like little tiny fish, and look at that secluded beach right there. A lot of secluded temporary beaches. See, and something people don't do, they don't go rock hopping and look in here. There might be something down in here. You got to be good at climbing. Sharp rocks. See there, look. On low tide, you can walk in there like a cave, but you better never get caught in there when the tide comes in. Hello. If I go up here, if I remember correctly, this will should be wide open, but it's like a whole nother place. And this is the Oregon coast. See there? Look at all those rocks that nobody's even looked at. Because it's hard to get down into, see? But I'm going down there. They don't look like much, but you got to know how to climb down these sharp rocks. Most people over 45 years old today can't come down in here. They're not in good enough shape for it. Someone was here a while back, had a secret fire here. That's interesting to see inside that there. Now I've been down in here in the winter time, and I haven't found much. It's usually all up by the big part of the beach where we walked into. That's where the majority of the rocks will be. See, and then it offshoots into here. Here's a little shell. A lot of people collect shells. If you don't enjoy looking at stuff, you won't enjoy finding agates. Now it gets into the real hard stuff back in here. Look at the size of that rock, and look at the color on it. Like it's got a lot of iron on it or something. And here's a secret cave, or a tunnel, that, I mean, you know, a bridge, I should say. You can go there. I'm gonna try to go up here. Here's a solid black rock. I'll stick that in my pocket. That would actually, let me lick it, watch. See, that would actually polish up to be kind of a cool black looking piece of jasper, maybe. Yeah, now we're in the thick of it here. I think the high tide's coming in. I gotta skedaddle out of this area. Hey, I'm 63 years old. Yeah, look, it's a bridge. The ocean made that. Here's another passageway that goes. I hope I don't walk all the way back to Florence and have to hitchhike back to my car. That'd be funny. Not really. See, then you can go over and over and keep going and keep going and keep going. All the way up to Strawberry Hill if you want to. About 3/4 of a mile away. I'm lucky. I get to come here anytime I want. Praise God today. I've been doing this for 23 years. Most people today are trying to get another half hour at the beach before they're forced to go back to Eugene and start back to work tomorrow on Tuesday after the holiday. Yeah, it's getting kind of high. I got to get out of this area, and unless I want to get wet, turn into Aquaman. That's always a bad idea. Look at how beautiful it is. Wow, you can't see. I don't have a good enough zoom. But if I zoom, you see on top of that hill there, right there, there's like 20 pelicans resting right there on the ledge. Just out of the way of humans. Check it out. Wow. Some seagulls. All right, I'm going to try to head back. I didn't go far. I just don't want to go wet. I just don't want to get too wet here, see. I'm already hopping here, which is a bad idea. You start hopping and you start slipping. When I was younger, I fell right on these rocks like 5 times. Right down on my side. It's not a pleasant experience, no. Wonder if I can hop across here. Ooh, maybe if I get the tide out. Go here, here, here. Here's some dry sand right here. Jump over to here. It's coming up on me. Okay, dry sand, dry sand. I'm on the rock, Dry sand, okay. I made it. Look at that wave. And I'm back to where, now I can't go around that. They call it going around the horn. You know, I can't go around that. Look at that rock embedded in there. I wonder what's behind there. That'd be interesting. I'll check the bottom of this and then start heading back towards the other side. If you've made it this long, keep watching, because I'm gonna... Now, I don't get paid on YouTube, no. I just make these for fun. And my videos are gonna start slowing down because I just made over 3,000 videos. And that was a goal of mine. So watch the rest of the video. I'll take you over to the waterfall underneath the bridge. It's a man-made waterfall, but it's like a 5 or 6 tier level waterfall, and it's really beautiful. So let me look some more here. Here's an interesting piece of wood. You could use that, put it in something in your house and make it look real cool, like on a door jamb or something, or on a, fit it into the end of a cabinet to make it look really cool and varnish it all up. Well, all I can say is God is good to me, because I've been doing this for 23 years. And I just recently lost 75 pounds. Not through exercise, through changing my diet. That's all I did, was change my diet. And I lost 75 pounds. You can look at the playlist on this channel. It's easier to climb up than it is down, because you can use your arms more going up. Here, I'll give you the view up here. Here, let me climb to the top here. Let me show you. Give you the panoramic 180. Here we go. Now down that way, about half a mile just on the beach, is Strawberry Hill. And then another 3/4 of a mile is Bob Creek. That's why you find all the agates in this one area. See, I was down there. It doesn't look like much now that you look at it from up here. But down there, it was a whole nother world. A whole nother adventure. Now, if I was a younger man, single, this would be a great place to put your tent for the night and sleep here overnight. Just watch out for the coyotes. There's a lot of coyotes up around here at the middle of the night. Look at that tide pool. There's another one over there. Look at those two big rocks out there. See? It's not just the ocean I love. See, most people come here and just look at the water, hold hands, confess your undying love for all eternity because you saw the ocean. Well, I see the ocean with complete strangers. I don't go over and start holding their hand. Hi, my name's Dave. I think I love you. No. Now I'm going to walk all the way back over there and then down. No, there's a stream there. I can't get across there. But I'm going to go up towards the waterfall up there underneath the Neptune bridge. So I got to climb down in there and I got to turn this off. Before I go, I'll tell you a true story. When I moved here, look at those roots. When I moved here, I had no idea what agates looked like. The first month I was here, me and my wife got a big bucket of agates, what we thought were agates. Took them down to the rock guy that's no longer even alive. The guy's not even alive. Took them down to the rock guy. Said, hey, look at all the agates we found. The guy started laughing and smiling. He said, you're either a tourist or you just moved here. I told him we moved here. He said, okay. And he took his time for 45 minutes explaining everything about agates to us. And then the next time we went to the beach, we knew right where they were, what they looked like, how to find them, what some of the names were. Then we took back a bucket and said, hey, now we got some real agates. And we gave him a couple handfuls for helping us. And you see, I didn't learn this on my own. I had to have a professional spend an hour with me and teach me. I got this theory, no one makes it through this world on their own. First thing you need is God Almighty, of course, and His Son, Jesus Christ. The second thing you need to do is have a few friends. Whoa, whoa. I shouldn't talk when I'm doing this. You need to have a few friends that have the same belief system you do, so you can kind of flow through life together, helping each other. I mean, I had a friend help me like 3 months ago with something, and then look at this red on the rock here. Now, you know, there is gold in this area, but not very much. Like, you'd have to go through 5 tons of gold to find a tenth of dirt. Normally you find an ounce for every 2 tons, like in Colorado. That's, you dig 4,000 pounds of dirt in a gold bearing area, and you will find a half an ounce or 1 ounce of gold. Saltwater, seawater has gold in it, but it's so tiny, it'd be almost impossible to find. Well, it costs more to find it. So, and then like a couple months later, the friend called and asked me for some help. Well, he didn't call me. He doesn't have my phone number. He just saw me at the grocery store and asked me. Like the old days. Neighbors helping neighbors. Look at this. It's got to be solid iron. Look at that. And it's got flint inside. See the flint? Now these are the kind of videos I'm going to make more in the future of. I just made a whole bunch of small videos on YouTube because I wanted to get to 3,000 videos. And I did that as of this morning. But now I'm taking it deeper, more into detail. I'll tell you one thing, this really keeps me agile. I want to show you, look at this red jasper stuck in the rock there. There is red jasper stuck in this rock. Yeah, so I'm going to take the videos more in detail. There's somebody else down here looking for agates, but there aren't any. But I don't think they care. It's so relaxing here today. It's cloudy, but about 68 degrees today. I just felt a warm wind come off the ocean. I could predict the weather better than a weatherman, because that guy has been wrong every day this week. I don't mean on TV, I mean when you put in the local weather on YouTube. Now I like it when people do stuff like that. That's pretty cool right there. It teaches kids how to learn to balance things, which is an architectural design skill. Something they don't teach anymore. Now this would be a great walking stick with that cool end on the end, but it's too thick. I mean, you'd have to be like Hulk Hogan to hold that thing. This is Bigfoot's walking stick. See, I know Bigfoot was here last night, and he forgot his walking stick again. He's always forgetting it down here. I personally know him and his Bigfoot family. That's where I spend Thanksgiving, at the Bigfoot Lodge in the Sayushla National Forest. Are you believing any of this? You're thinking, man, this guy never shuts up. This guy never stops talking. Okay, I'm gonna go down, but I've checked every rock. There's no rocks there. I had a false premonition, or I missed it somehow. I found glass balls from Japan here 15 years ago. You don't find them much anymore. I found big, huge Japanese buoys, the plastic ones that are half as big as a Volkswagen Bug, you know, Beetle. See, now if you go in this small stuff here, that's where those two people are. You might find a tiny little sliver of an agate, see? There's part of a sand dollar right there. Let me explain how to find agates. All those rocks, I bet you there's 100,000 agates 8 foot under these rocks right there. At least. And they come down the rivers through the forest over thousands of years. And then, a side note, I've walked into those woods just right there, and there'd be people camping overnight, putting their tent together at sunrise. And it's like, oh, good morning. They're like, good morning. And they're making coffee and, you know, avocado toast. So the storm comes, and you got like 6 to 8 foot waves coming all the way, and they hit that wall, believe it or not. That's why the wall is all the way back there. They hit that wall. I've seen these storms put driftwood on top of that wall. Anybody's been here for a while has seen it. And so what happens to this beach? This beach gets turned over about 4 to 5 foot over and over and over. And all the agates that are underneath here come to the top. And all the agates that are sitting down in the ocean there about a half a mile out are all washed up for the winter. And then when the storms are done, the wind comes and starts covering them all with sand again. And the yearly process continues. And that's why you got to be very careful. You come down here on a storm, you got to know what you're doing, boy. Watch those sneaker waves. And the agates will be laying right on top. And you got to be the first one down here before 5 other people go and pick them up. And you're not going to find much if you don't live here. You'd be better off just invest into silver or whatever. Oh, here's a sand dollar, almost a whole sand dollar. Hey, come over here. I want you to be my pet seagull. Don't run away. I like looking at the patterns. There's the bridge. First sign of the bridge we're going to. Now, if you are into photography, the Oregon coast is like a photographer's dream. From Astoria to the California sign south of Brookings. Now here, see, if I'm really bored, now this is a really cool piece of wood. You let this dry out and you can make anything you want out of this. Here's what I'm gonna do. Maybe. There we go, there we go. Now someone will come along and go, wow, look at how the ocean made that wood stand up like that. See, that lady was walking in this stream, but you can see there's no rocks here. You're not going to find anything. I do know some old timers. I don't personally know them. I just see them. They live within 4 or 5 miles of here. And every winter they put on their big, huge water boots. Not in the winter, in the spring. And they'll walk 2 or 3 miles up this stream in the middle with one of those grabbers, those things you buy to pick things up. And they got a bucket with them. These are like 70, 75, 80-year-old guys. And they'll walk down this stream and get some of the best agates you've ever seen. Hey, someone copied my idea. Well, they did that yesterday, so I must have copied their idea. See all the driftwood? That driftwood got here, that's because the water last night came up this high. That's how you can tell. You go to South Jetty in Florence, Oregon, or any place, you know, Bandon, wherever. You'll find like 10 or 15 ton logs, like 30,000 pound logs or 20,000 pound logs in the parking lot next to the ocean. And when I moved here, I thought, how did that get here? The ocean put it up there. And then when I would talk to some of the people that lived there for 50 years, I like asking old people questions. Unless they're from Idaho. then I don't trust them. No, I'm just kidding. I always say that because my son lives in Idaho. And they'll tell you, well, okay, the winter of like 1979 or something, or the winter of 1959, you know, the water came like 100 foot up into the parking lot. I think here's where she was. Hey, look at there. I think that's raccoon. Maybe not. It might have been a dog. But it kind of looked like raccoon. They come down here at night and wash their paws and try to get food. And thing I find that, now look at this, all getting washed down. Thing I find the most fascinating. Now, I've been here in the middle of the winter during the storm when there was a big, huge sand moat in the middle, and I had to walk through the water to get to it. And I found about 8 or 9 of the biggest white, clear agates I've ever seen. And if I hadn't have gone over there, and I was just lucky, I was just the first one over there. And they were just laying right on the top. Now, people do this kind of stuff here so you can walk to the other side without ruining your shoes. If you put your Kmart shoes in this salt water, they'll fall apart 2 weeks later. Look at that beautiful view. Surrounded by the forest. I've gone as far as a mile up in this. It takes like 8 hours to go a mile up there and walk a mile back in the center of the stream. I just had some really big old shoes on. I had no water things or nothing. And I didn't find anything. I just wanted to walk in the stream up in there. Now you can go to the other side. That's called North Neptune. There's some more bridge arches in there. There's a cave. There's a tiny little cave. I've never once found an agate in those caves. Now look, someone tried to spell stuff with rocks, little kids. Little kids are the best. They're more pure and they have more love of life and love of people. Look at, someone made a thing out there. Look at all this driftwood. Now in the winter, this stream will just come straight down here, come here, it just curve and go, it won't curve that far, it'll just curve and wipe this whole beach out and go straight out. And that's another thing that contributes to, you look for rocks next to the stream like this here, because the stream is washing all this sand out, and there's going to be agates falling out of this edge of this stream. I found so many buckets of them that way. Now look at that. How much do you think that weighs? I bet it weighs 1,500 pounds, soaking wet right there. Now in the olden days, 100 years ago, they would come down. They didn't go to Home Depot. No, they came down here and got all this driftwood floating down, drug it behind a wagon or behind a mule back to their cabin in the woods, and that's how they got more wood. Now, I'm not going to check all that stuff. There's been so many people here. If they missed anything, I'd be shocked. You know, 23 years on the Oregon coast, I've only seen an octopus once. And it was a baby octopus. I've only seen one of them. Now see this little bird here? I don't know what it's called, but it pops from rock to rock and bounces up and down. Look at that. and then it dives in the water. Look, it's diving all the way in the water, swimming around down there, getting tons of little bugs in its beak, and it'll pop right back up on the rock and eat them. Look. See all this driftwood over here? I want to tell you, see the driftwood up here? Floated from the beach down there all the way back up into there. So how did it get there? That's like 200 yards from where the water is right now. Well, the power of the ocean, the power of the ocean. I'm trying to walk past this bird, but he's getting his breakfast. Well, actually, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, so it's more like brunch. Birds get up at 5 a.m. I've noticed if you don't harass wildlife and you just walk slowly, they won't run away real fast. Now look at this. It's interesting, all these rocks here. Okay, so I told you there's gold in this area. I know there is because there, he just went right in the water. Look, right in front of me. Because I found gold-bearing quartz here. So I know there's gold up in those hills somewhere. It'd take 5 lifetimes to find it. Well, you see, gold, you know, floats to the bottom because it's heavier. The same thing is with agates, have a hardness of 7. Like ruby has a hardness of 8. Diamond's a hardness of 10. But agates are heavier than other rocks. So you wonder, well, why do they keep going under the sand? Because they're heavier, you know, inch per inch, they weigh more. So things that weigh more always get shifted to the bottom. I mean, put some quarters in a couple cups of flour for your kids, and then have them sift them around in the bucket for a while. All the quarters will go down to the bottom eventually. As long as the flour's not wet. All right, let's go to the waterfall. It's a man-made waterfall. I promised you this at the end of the video. Then I'll show you some of the driftwood, and we are done. Now you see, I just walked 2 miles down here in circles on this beach. So what is the video at 45 minutes? So I've been down here for about an hour and a half to make this 45-minute video. Now if you go out there, be careful. See how slippery it is? Yeah. Look at how beautiful that is back in there. I've found agates as far as like a block all the way up in there. Here's the waterfall. It's nice and gentle today. I got more videos of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And look, there's a, it's part of the Oregon Coast Trail, believe it or not. There's a bridge you cross. Now, if I was a hobo, I would definitely take my bath in there every night. Well, wait a minute. Hobos don't take a bath every night. So I'd take my bath in there once a month. Hobo Dave. Look at how beautiful that is. Try to stand on a couple of these rocks down here. We are now bringing you the sounds of tranquility. for 10 seconds, become tranquil. Beep, beep, beep. I guess that's not going to help you. All right, let's go. Let's go look at the driftwood, and then we'll... When I moved here, I worked 40 hours a week for the first 10 years. And then I actually, for the first 5 years, I worked 65 hours a week from age 40 to 45. Then when I turned 54 years old, I semi-retired and kept working 25 hours a week. Then when I turned 55 years old, I completely retired, and I've been doing stuff like this for the last 8 years, about 40 hours a week. I mean, the YouTube channel I have is just, I'm just sharing with you. I'm just sharing some of the things I do. I'm not trying to get you to do them. I'm not saying you should be doing them, or I'm great, or... And I just survive on Social Security. I get Social Security now last year at age 62. And I've been married 41 years by the grace and mercy of Jesus Christ. I can't believe God actually found a woman that would put up with me for 41 years. Should go in the Guinness Book of World Records. Not for being married the longest, but putting up with Dave the longest. Now look at that hole in there, all the way through, look. Okay, we'll end the video right here. If you were standing here, see, a ton is 2,000 pounds. Like this right here. That thing weighs like 3,000 pounds. And then when it gets wet, it weighs like 4,000 pounds. All right. If you watch the whole video, God bless you. You should drive here someday and plan on spending 3 hours here. And I say, praise God today. Thank you, Lord Jesus.